Right.
So it's, as you said, this is a perfect test for someone like me to be in this kind of an environment, you know.
That's why I put you on the show.
Exactly, and I appreciate that.
To show you, then we can look back and see what you're doing.
Right.
So that's what I do.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, nobody's doing what I do in the world. Nobody.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. And they're of the view, in my field, the American Speech Language Hearing Association, that this is a medical problem, a neurological problem. There's no documentation, as far as I can tell, documenting that position. And that position began in 1960, Roe, Brumlick, and Moore, in the laryngoscope indicating suggestively that this may be a neurological problem. I don't find it. So the MRIs, the CAT scans don't show it. If you have a condition that's in the basal ganglia or any other problem in the body, then high tech should pick it up.
Well, I would also think about the CAT scan, that when I had a CAT scan, pardon me, that I spoke about in part one, I had a CAT scan originally which diagnosed my helped diagnose my laryngeal reflux disease, which is what I was, when I actually was first starting to, and one of the things I'm doing right now, just in terms of why I'm pausing, is making sure I change and shift my perspective and speaking in the face, and keeping the nasal resonance.
Yeah.
So it's the whole thing that you've talked about process over content.
Yeah. This is the...
It's one of those things that will absolutely blow your mind.
Yeah.
Does that voice that you came in with blow your mind?
Yes, because it's so far from what that voice was.
Yes, and you've been doing that for years.
Yes.
It's one of those things that will absolutely blow your mind.
You're in a booth, your voice is going out, it's exhausting to you.
And there's absolutely no life to it. It has
Aside
no
from the life,
power.
You're strangling yourself,
You're totally
and you're getting a
strangling
condition that the medical people are saying is beyond you, it's incurable,
Yeah.
and you're creating the problem. That's my position.
Yeah. No, and that's why, as you said, can you change your own voice? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can,
absolutely
with direction.
Can, with
right
direction and focus and patience.
Right direction.
With right direction.
Getting nasal resonance. All good and great voices, folks, are using a marked degree of nasal resonance. Not excessive, a marked degree of nasal resonance. If I talk to you like this, you hear the change immediately. Most people with SD, nearly all people with SD, all are talking in the lower throat. And if you put your voice up in the face, you have a chance to get out of SD. Then you have to have the roadmap that's telling you and showing you on an ongoing basis how you're doing the wrong voice and what the right voice is.
Right.
So what I'm doing is called direct voice rehabilitation. It's in contrast to speech therapy, which never reports a single cure because they're not directing you to the simple variables that can help you to get out of spasmodic dysphonia or other voice problems.
Yeah. No, I remember when I first started working in that voice, which was the lower throat voice. There was an image that was attached to that voice. It was, cool and hip and all that kind of stuff. And so what you're talking about in terms of identity is very true, is that there was a complete persona wrapped in that voice.
Tightly wrapped.
Oh, tightly wrapped.
Very tightly wrapped.
Boom. Yeah.
You're tightly wrapped.
Absolutely tightly
image.
Wrapped.
And the medical people are not aware of the image, the identity, voice and speech.
Right.
Identity that is creating the misuse of the voice. They're looking at the vocal cords to see if they're spasming. And they can tell that. But they're not listening to why you're doing it. And the ear is not trained clinically to tell you you're misusing your voice. They're not trained. They're trained for a period of time in their residency to look at the vocal cords. They're very gifted at that. I'm very gifted at listening to the voice and telling you in a second or two or three why you've got the spasmodic dysphonia, because you're talking deep throat or your breathing is reversed.
Right. And as you've said, once you get the nasal resonance, the breathing takes care of itself.
Yes, but you fight the nasal resonance.
Say it again?
You fight the nasal resonance.
Are you saying personally, or are you saying in a general sense?
All these cases fight the change of voice.
Yeah.
You're not an anomaly.
Yeah.
You're normal. It's threatening to your identity. If you're talking like this, and then you're talking like this, all heck breaks loose. You don't feel comfortable. It sounds robotic. It sounds artificial, phony, not you. They all
And
say
I
the same thing.
I think it actually also in my business that it is all about image. It really is all about image, and I think that's what the battle is sometimes is, thinking, will people believe the new voice? And as we talked about in part one, they have.
Yeah.
They're
all positive about your new voice.
Of course they are.
But you weren't.
No, I wasn't. No.
Well, that's the battle.
No.
The medical people are well-intentioned. They're humane. They're very kind. They're compassionate. They're looking at the wrong cause of spasmodic dysphonia.
Right.
And they're treating it for 135 years as though it's a medical problem. It is not a medical problem. They're doing Botox, which is a stopgap measure, which is well-intentioned, humane, compassionate, but it's not curing. And they guarantee there are no cures. Allergan, the maker of Botox, the academic field I'm in, the medical profession worldwide guarantees there are no cures of your condition. I'm reporting cures. We're on two different roads. They're taking a road that I have not taken. I'm taking the road saying that this is a problem of misuse of voice, that it is reversible and it is curable, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel. The patients with SD are guaranteed that there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There are no cures. So we're on two different sides of an issue. We're all well-intentioned. Hopefully, I'm right. I've been reporting cures for over 35 years, documented cures. And if you want, you can get a free book, free. Download the book, Curing Hopeless Voices, The Strangled Voice, Spasmodic Dysphonia, an alternative to Botox.
Yeah.
Now, Botox is fine. It works for you, fine. But we know that there are a number of patients who do not find Botox is working for them. I'm seeing the number of patients that it's not working for. I get emails, I get calls. You have seen these patients in the office.
And I've heard them.
You've heard them on the recorded answering device I have with their permission.
Yeah.
And they give up the right of private. You've heard them.
And, as a patient, and knowing that that was an option for me, I think the first thing that I would say is that it doesn't work. And that's coming from a patient. It's not coming from you. It's not coming from other people. It just, in my opinion, it's not, I don't think it's not the optimum form of treatment. At least for me.
It's not appropriate for you.
For me.
But there are people who have had the Botox shots, and they're coming in because it's not appropriate or effective for them.
Right.
Meanwhile, the field is saying it's the state-of-the-art and treatment of choice. That's fine.
Sure.
If the Botox is working for you, that's great. But I'm seeing the other side of the coin. And the issue is, will the medical field, will UCLA Medical Center, will the medical outfits in the world, in the country, allow themselves to give choice to the patients who are not finding Botox working for them or effective or clinically unsatisfactory? That's the issue.
Yeah.
They know that I have the cures. They know they've gotten the information, the documentation. It's simply there. But basically, the medical profession is stuck in a niche. They cannot conceive that this condition, which is mysterious to them and incurable to them in medicine, can be cured
non-invasively.
Naturally. So what I'm telling you to do is change the way you're using your voice. And you're seeing that in the office. You're seeing it with a number of people who have tried Botox. It's not working for them. You can see they want another approach, but they have to learn to change the voice, to put their voice in the face with one variable, nasal resonance.
More than anything, I think even if I'm in a situation where I'm fighting nasal resonance, there are periods where I actually have an incredible amount of resonance, and I know that is the goal. That is the goal more than anything.
Right.
As pitch as a prop, as you've said, but the resonance is absolutely the key to the whole thing.
Right. When you talk at lunch with 5 or 6 or 7 people, does anybody say anything when you use the nasal resonance?
No. No, they say you sound perfectly normal.
Right.
They say you sound great.
Yeah. What do people say now when you're in the booth doing voiceover?
They say you sound fantastic.
Right.